Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Smiley. We back at it again. This time we got a monster we're gonna look at. Well, a little documentary, a little preview of the Loch Ness Monster. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. So this is the real story behind the Loch Ness Monster. Let's get it.
We all want
Do you guys believe in it?
We want things that are bigger than we are, frightening and hidden. But to be hidden, they have to be in lost worlds. And to some extent, Loch Ness is a lost world because of its darkness and its depth. It is those elements that, quite frankly, I'm probably responsible for reducing somewhat. I'm Adrian Shine. I'm a naturalist. I lead the Loch Ness project, which researches Loch Ness, and I have designed the public exhibition called the Loch Ness Centre at Drumnadrochit. Loch Ness is not huge on a world scale, but it is in terms of depth, and it was that aspect which attracted me. And so the search in the 70s.
Do you guys believe in the Loch Ness Monster? Honestly, I do. Maybe it's not there no more. Maybe it already died. Because there would have been more, it's just people there almost all the time watching that lake. Like people camp there and just watch the freaking lake. But what do you guys think?
Moved underwater, and I was part of that.
I've been here for 10 years. I'm getting older. Do it!
The problem at Loch Ness was deep, dark, cold water. But there was another loch called Loch Mora, which had clear water and a similar monster tradition. And that's where I began in 1973.
Like, this guy's been investigating this shit his whole life. That's so dope.
I built a submarine, a small submersible observation chamber to exploit that clear water. And I was looking upwards against the daylight on the surface, hoping that something big would swim over the top. But I saw so much more. Even the little tiny plankton would be outside the window. And so I developed a much greater general interest in what was going on in the loch. We ended
That's so
up
cool.
moving slowly from trying to ambush an anomaly to looking at the general environment.
That's so
things
beautiful. Look at that, guys.
were plausible, such as
See, this is where you gotta admire shit that the world has. You gotta admire what you have. Look at this view. Even though I'm not there, I'm still admiring that this view exists on our planet. So this is beautiful. One day I would love to visit there and camp it out.
web. Loch Ness is a cold water environment, and it is surrounded by mountains of very ancient hard rocks which yield extremely few nutrients. That is limiting to reptiles, for example, like the favourite plesiosaur. When I was nearly 8 years old, I was taken by my parents to a little town on the east coast of England called Munsley. And one evening we walked down to the beach, and out towards the horizon we saw a series of fast-moving humps, all in line, moving across our field of view. That was the first time that I became aware of controversy. The fact that a conventional wisdom, i.e. science, did not believe in sea serpents, and yet witnesses...
This is crazy. Like, I've never been able to see something. I've seen like more on the ghost side, stuff like that type of stuff. I've experienced that stuff. But when it comes to monsters, aliens, UFOs, stuff like that, I haven't really gotten to experience that. So I've studied, I've learned about it, I've watched videos on it, heard people's stories and stuff like that. I personally never have experienced that yet.
saw them did.
You saw it, didn't you?
Yeah, oh, distinctly. I don't doubt there's a monster myself.
I just noticed a small, dark shape just out of the corner of my eye.
We saw this great neck emerge from the water, and then there was the long neck, and you could see the three humps.
Our brains spend a lot of time trying to work out what we're seeing and then telling us that we're seeing it. And so what should be in Loch Ness? It should be a Loch Ness monster. Now, the stereotype of the Norwegian sea serpent with its relatively short head and neck and lots of humps, we explained at Loch Ness. It was boat wakes. The Caledonian Canal means that quite large vessels move through, and the wave train left behind them is called a displacement wake, and when viewed from a low angle, results in a remarkable illusion of solid humps. Now we're left with the plesiosaur stereotype, with its longer neck and its shorter body. Now how could that be explained? What on Loch Ness has these flexible, long necks that we do know about? And it might sound outrageous to suggest that these long-necked birds could produce monster sightings because of scale. But consider now the situation when the water is calm, it's flat, and doesn't contain recognizable objects. How then do we judge the scale of an object we do not recognize? And the answer is it's very difficult. If we don't recognize the bird and we can't judge the scale, then we are left with an image which is very similar to that famous surgeon's photograph that is the picture we would all recognize.
Nah, dude, but this, bro, you'd be able to tell if this was a duck. Like, you'd be able to freaking tell if it was a duck or not, for real. That's like, you can tell the difference between that.
It's simply the conclusion of it being a monster because of the perceived scale. And the perceived scale, in the absence of evidence of scale, comes from expectation.
I think if we were to get a fish on the scale that the contacts would suggest, then I don't think anybody would be too dissatisfied, and all those eyewitnesses would have their vindication.
When I present the mystery of the Loch Ness Monster, I'm as anxious to show the lessons of what we've actually done. We haven't sat around the loch failing to photograph a Loch Ness Monster for 40 years. We learned lessons outside the natural history and more into human perception.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think there's a Loch Ness Monster or not? My heart will always believe that there is some sort of monster there, right? But my brain, obviously, that's different. I feel like my brain, factual, there's not too much facts based on it, but there's some pictures, there's some, I don't know, it's just, I personally, my theory is that something like that did exist in there, but since it was only like maybe 2 or 3, let's say it was just 2 or 3, within the last 80 years, I don't think dinosaurs lived that long, right? So maybe I could search up, or someone could search up how long those dinosaurs lived for, and they probably weren't able to multiply and reproduce and all that stuff. So then they just died. So then their body just decomposed at the bottom of the river, and that was that. That's why now with the new technology we have, we probably don't get information and stuff like that. But I don't know. There's just so much shit to think about. And this is not the only monster. Best believe I'm going to be doing a lot more. Comment down below if you guys got any more that I need to react to. Take care. Make sure y'all subscribe, like the video, and peace.